year.
It's officially our 16th training.
16th training.
Yeah, so if you've made all of them, good job.
Yeah, really. Because we have. Okay, so many of you probably saw this in your Friday folder, or you saw it on the school website, Friday note, whatever. If you haven't filled this out, there's a chance tonight I'm going to be passing something around to give your information. We mostly communicate by email, so that's the most handy thing to have. But this also gives a little synopsis of our year. Hopefully you saw it and you're excited about it. Adaptations. So we're going to talk about all kinds of different adaptations that occur in the natural world. So this one is seed dispersal. That's kind of an easy way in, but later we're going to get into a lot more in-depth stuff. Have an exciting year. So I'll pass this sign.
Who are newbies that have never done health before?
Oh,
yay! Almost half of you, awesome.
Welcome to our world.
Yes, and we're glad you guys actually showed up tonight, and if you needed childcare, we've got it in Mr. Berg's room. But it's really important to come at least the first couple times you're doing it to really see all the intricacies of ELF. And then we do videotape the sessions, and then we download it on YouTube. So if you need to go back to the center that you picked, if you want to watch it again, it's always on YouTube. So, but we prefer you actually come here in person and are able to ask questions and that type of stuff.
Yep. So the first thing I'll go through is the outline just really briefly. I'm just going to touch on a few points. I'm kind of the administrator right now. I get into more training as the year goes on, but right now I'm trying to organize all you people and tell you where to go. So I'll just start with the outline just a little bit. On the top has a little box. For your new people, this is how our ELF day runs. So the calendar has an AM or PM slot. The class coordinator, which we'll get into in a little bit, class coordinator will talk to the teacher, decide exactly what time the 2-hour window is, and then she'll coordinate, or he, pardon me, will coordinate to you, class volunteers, what time to be there, what you're doing for a center. If you're here at training, usually people like to pick a center that they like, and then you can kind of review it at home or show up a little bit early. But we really try and schedule an health day to be 2 hours long. So you get there 15 minutes at 2 hours, you set up for the first 15 minutes, then there's a 15-minute introduction, then the centers rotate to you, so you only learn one center. You don't have to learn everything. It's not rocket science ELF here, it's just one little thing. Kids rotate to you in 20-minute cycles, there's a 15-minute conclusion, and then there's cleanup and put away materials. So it's really a 2-hour window. You don't have to come in half an hour before, there's time to set up, and if you're at training, you should know what you're doing anyways, so that 2-hour window is set. You can almost bank on it.
And really quick, the teachers are the ones who pick the dates on this calendar. We just set it in the teacher's lounge, and so it's usually what works best for their schedule. But if you chose to be a classroom coordinator or something, or you were finding you couldn't get a lot of volunteers on a particular day, feel free to contact the teacher and ask for a different date that's open on here that might work better for you guys.
Yeah, it's not set in stone, but if you do change it, let me primarily know. If you can't find me, then Amy or Emmy. Oh, and I guess I should have introduced us. I'm Carrie the Savage. I'm one of the co-coordinators for ELF at Mitchell.
I'm Emmy Dimitrov. I'm a co-coordinator for ELF.
And I'm Amy White.
And we all started this back when our kids were in 1st grade, and now they're in 5th grade. And they did one session right at the very end of their 1st grade year. And then we've been going strong. Like I said, this is our 16th ELF session. And the teachers really like it because it's, the test scores are going up, and they also get 2 hours off. So they do not have to be in the classroom. They have all week.
So, back to the outline. It's pretty straightforward. These girls will cover it more in depth, but each center has a bin, and each bin has what's in it on the right-hand side of the column. There's books in each center. Books seem to get neglected, but they're very important to keep in the bin because we borrow them from the library, and we don't want to waste our whole ELF budget on buying books from the library. At the very last page is the conclusion. We always try to have a snack in there for something fun. The kids love ELF snacks. If you have something creative to share, you can email me and I can email all the coordinators and they can choose to use it or not. We also have a list of the books that are in the bins, so it'd be nice to double check. One thing that's important to note is we like those bins to get put back together in very organized. We put them together in envelopes and Ziplocs and keep everything together. Once you're done with your center, please put it back away. Found so the next group isn't scrambling to figure out what part is what. Another kind of important thing for setup is we like to walk into the classrooms at the first session, and in fact every session, and tell the kids, we are here as volunteers. We're doing this because we want to be here, but you have to respect us and listen to us, blah, blah, blah. That gets really kind of important class coordinator, which will also get to you. If you're in a hurry to get it for work schedules or whatever, you can write down the dates, but it's coming, so don't feel like you have to take diligent notes while we're starting here today. And then a sign-up sheet. Oh, and then the other thing I have for housekeeping is this is the difference between class coordinator and class volunteer. So in an average ELF month, class volunteers are spending about 4 hours. You're coming to training for 2 hours, and you're coming to the class day for 2 hours. Class coordinator is the person that talks to me, and then the teacher, and then all the volunteers, and they're adding about an hour a month of an ELF month, which is only 5 months of the year. So it's not a huge commitment. You're going to be communicating with all the people below you or as volunteers to make sure they're there for training, or to make sure they're there, most importantly, for class days. So I'm going to pass this around. If you're interested, you're probably, since you're here, you're probably on this list. If you're not, add yourself to that list. And then if you are, double check your information. If you really would love to be the class coordinator, we'd love to have you step up into that role. It's like I said, it's about an hour additional commitment to what you're already hopefully committed to. We have class coordinators for McBride Taft, Keck, Kemery, Gilmore, Greenlaw, and Cranston. So if you are in those classes, you're off the hook. If not, think about signing up. The lists are the same, so only fix your information on one page. I'll get them, but I want to make sure everyone has time to do that. So that's that. I believe
And in years past, like the very first unit, we have all tried to be the classroom coordinators till someone stepped up. And we work and do all kinds of things besides ELF, and it takes us hours and hours and hours to put all these bins together and go shopping and everything that we do. And so we physically cannot be classroom coordinators. Even if we would want to be, we just can't. And so if you guys do, I mean, it's really not that much work. You just send out a lot of emails. So if you are even slightly thinking about it, we would really appreciate it if you would. And if, I think Carrie mentioned, if we don't get a classroom coordinator to step up, we may not be able to have ELF in that classroom at all. So
it's true. We've gotten it 2 years in a row, but
yeah,
you know, everybody steps up.
Because we just physically cannot do it. So anyway, that's the scoop. All right, so are you done with your part, Carrie?
I am done.
Okay. All righty. So we are going into the adaptations theme this year, and of all the 5 years of ELF that revolve every 5 years, this is probably the best one. So if you've been doing this for a couple of years, you're going to find this one even more hands-on. A lot of stuff from the Denver Museum of Nature and Science that we're going to check out. The next session after seed dispersal, we're going to have huge, like, walrus tusks in the classroom and all kinds of stuff that the kids are going to be able to get their little hands on. All right, so this adaptations theme for the whole year, it kind of starts out like this. Why do ducks have webbed feet, or rose bushes have thorns, or why does the snowshoe hare freeze when a predator approaches? These are all adaptations. In the natural world, they're either structural or behavioral characteristics of a species that's evolved over time in response to the changing environment. So the theme this year is how different adaptations contribute to the success and survival of various plants and animals. And this is not in your outline right now. This is just the overall adaptations thing. The snowshoe hare has adapted behavioral adaptations to avoid detection, and also the color is a camouflage. A lot of the stuff in this seed unit relates back to old ELF units that they've done over the last 3 years. And then the thorns are modified leaves that actually protect the plant from being eaten. Children will learn individual organism changes through its life cycle, while species change through time through the process of natural selection. Our other units this time are going to be teeth and skulls, which is next, hunter and hunted, beak, feet, and feathers, and thorns and threats. So those are our 5 for this year. The one for tonight is seed dispersal. Have any of you guys blown a dandelion? No, sure, we all have. Okay, or thrown just an apple core out your car or on the road somewhere. If you have actually contributed to one of the most important missions in the plant world, seed dispersal. So there's always opening questions you can ask the kids. I don't usually go through a whole lot of these. You only want to pick 1 or 2. You don't want to spend a whole lot of time if you're the person in charge of doing the introduction. And then there will be a seed pop demo. Sometimes we have a slideshow that we show or different things like that, but today we do a seed pop demo. So it is. We have one package of these. We're having a hard time finding them, so if anybody knows or has some of these laying around your house, you just do the whole, oh yeah. You want to shoot it? No. Let's try that again. Yeah, and then everybody will be complaining it smells like smoke. No. But anyway, some seeds actually pop like that, and so this is an example of that. The examples, if you actually want to write down the names of seeds that do that, examples are jewelweed and touch-me-nots.
Does anybody need an outline? I have one extra. It's Amy's pen. All right.
Okay, and then the other fun part of the introduction is the puppet show. If you've never done ELF before, the kids love the puppet show. There's always a puppet show. We just got the outlines to make them today, so they're not done yet, but they are on paint sticks, and they're little puppets, and we have a puppet theater down in the ELF closet, which is downstairs in the atrium, just a little closet off there. That's where you show up to pick up all your stuff and bring the bins up to the classroom. But anyway, the puppet show this time has Mary Mapleseed talking to her mom and wondering where she will be when she grows up. And unlike humans and stuff, seeds want to travel far from their parent, because if they stay really close, they're going to be in a fight for nutrients, water, sunlight, that type of stuff. So they don't want to be near their parents. And you can kind of relate that to the kids' lives. And so she's wondering if she's going to fly or float or be carried by water, or if an animal will pick her up. And she's actually parachute shaped because she's a little maple seed. And then she happens across a cranberry, and she thinks it's fascinating that the cranberry actually floats. And if the cranberry gets eaten by a bird, the cranberry's like, no worries, because it'll still come out in the scat. So, and we can relate that back to a few units back when we studied all the animals' different scat. And then Charlie Chipmunk comes along, and he's rubbing the hitchhiker seeds off his coat, you know, these little guys, and it's hurting him, and it's sharp, and he's trying to get off his back. And then finally, the maple seed finds a spot that's perfect. She and the chipmunk find the little spot, and then she makes it through winter and becomes a seedling in the spring. So that's kind of the whole puppet show. If it's kindergarten, first, and second grade, I would encourage the parents to be the puppeteers, and the scripts are in the intro box. And then I think there's only 3 puppeteers in this one. And then if it's 3rd or 4th grade, you could give the scripts or copies of the scripts to the teachers ahead of time. It's actually kind of like a little practice for readers theater. And then the kids could perform the play. And a lot of times, like, the teacher will pick different kids for each ELF session during the year. So talk to the teacher and see if she knows of any students that might want to do that. And they really like that. You just have to encourage them to speak in really loud voices. So that is the intro. And then we move on to Center 1.
Things pop into my head. So I forgot to say to the new people that the ELF closet, like Amy suggested, is downstairs. In the atrium, there's a little workroom off to the right. If the atrium's here at the front door, it's opposite. You'll find it. You'll find all these bins. And the puppet theater's down there. It's in disrepair always. It's just a kind of a quirky little thing that we like to abuse, so it's down there. They'll use that for the puppet show, and we strongly encourage the puppet show to be the way you start ELF, because it's got it's chock full of information. Another thing you'll notice in the outline, there's 5 centers. You only have time for 4.
Yep.
So there's an outdoor center always. If it's snowing, raining, sleeting, or a day like today, maybe you don't want to do the outdoor center, or maybe someone has a special liking for one. So there's only time for 4. You'll have to swag one off the list.
And in the past, people have said, oh, I really like this part of this center and this part of this center, and just combine those 2. So you are free to do whatever you want to do. Yep.
That's all you. And then the last thing, I think I mentioned snacks. I didn't cover, of course, there's allergy concerns. So be sure to check with your teacher to make sure that no one has an allergy concern with whatever snacks we're